So, ninth question, either from world revolutions or world wars. Now, this is the section that in schools you are doing now. The world revolutions, world wars. So normally when we take that world revolutions and world wars, the probability of giving this question from these two lessons are 7th lesson of grade 11 and 8th lesson of grade 11. Yet you have to do in the school. So here equal probability. So that means we can't say having what lesson is having high probability, equal probability. So even world revolutions and world wars are important. So equally they have given questions from 2016 up to now. So when we take the three revolutions, American War of Independence, French Revolution and Russian Revolution. These are the three revolutions that we learn for our syllabus. So when we take these three revolutions, I think you can see.
Anuradha sir, you can start the session. I think your video is
I started, sir. Suddenly that I was disconnected. Now, okay, sir. Can you see my yeah, once again, go into screen here. So here that American War of Independence is not so important because no question has been given from American War of Independence. Russian Revolution alone, there was no question. But French Revolution, from French Revolution, most of the times they have given questions. So I think 2 years, when we take from 2008, sorry, 16 up to 2020 last year, 2 times exact two questions have been given in 2018 and 2016, like so from French Revolution. So that's why I have selected French Revolution here to discuss today, right? So now we'll discuss a French Revolution here, and we'll start with the French Revolution. So when we come to French Revolution, what is important? So when we come to French Revolution, what is important? Right. So normally for every revolution, so every revolution like French Revolution, we have reasons. We have reasons. And how it happened. And then results. So these are the 3 things that we have to learn about any revolution. So even American, even French, even Russian. So reasons are very important. How it happened is not important because this is only important for MCQs only. So when you do MCQs, this is important. So reasons and results are coming for the essay type questions. So these are essay. So here also essay. So normally now we have target on essay type questions, so not the MCQs. So MCQs only 1 or 2 may come out of 40. But essay type questions, if they give you an essay type question from this revolution, like 18 marks out of 200. So you have to obtain these 18 marks. I told you reasons are important. So according to French Revolution, the value from 2016 up to 2020, results have come always, not the reasons. But reasons are important. Results have come 2 times to explain what were the results of French Revolution. So once it had come along the results of the French Revolution, the other time it had come with joining with Russian Revolution. So however, now here we are going to discuss the reasons first. Second, how it happened. I guess this I discussed briefly because it's not so important. So results I'm once again discussing. When the question comes, the students face this problem. The information given in the textbook related to the results of the French Revolution was not enough to write that long answer. So that using the information given in the textbook, when they tried to write this results, the answer, so it was not enough. So here I'm giving all the in detail results, explaining everything because it's so important. Right, now we'll discuss the reasons for the French Revolution. The reasons for the French Revolution we can divide into 3 sections. Political reasons, economic reasons, and the social reasons. So political reasons are the most important. So if there is a question, explain the reasons that affected for the French Revolution. So these are the 3 headings to write under 3 headings: political reasons, economic reasons, and social reasons. So when we come to political reasons, King Louis XIV, he was the main cause for this revolution. So he belongs to Bourbon dynasty and he became an autocratic king. Autocratic king means what? He was just working according to his wishes only, not listening to any other person. So from his time, there was a council to advise this, the government or the king. It was known as State General Council. State General Council. So this State General Council was dismissed. He had not gathered the State General Council for his advice. That means he did not take any advices from the State General Council. So because of that, he was doing all the things by his own without listening to any other person, any other institute. So that means he was autocratic. So that's why he misused even all his powers. And he stated 2 things, and that shows his power. So once he stated, I am the state. Now see the statement, I am the state. So I am the state means what? I am the kingdom. I am the government. I am the state. So everything is me. So to this, we can see how he was powerful. Even the second statement that he made was what? Anything anticipated by me is lawful. So that means anything I do, anything I like, anything I wish, anything I speak is lawful. Right? So that also shows his power. So when you want to write about the powers of the King Louis XIV, you have to just remember these 2 statements and write. Okay. Even he misused all his powers. Even he misused the judicial powers. So he had arrested all his political opponents. Political opponents are who? Those people who were against the government, who were against the king. So they have been arrested and kept in Bastille prison. Bastille prison. So in Bastille prison was a place where the political prisoners were imprisoned. So that means they misused all his powers. He misused judicial powers. So he was an autocratic. So then came King Louis XV. So now this is the 14th, the King Louis XV. He was also continuing the autocratic power. Then it came King Louis XVI. Now during this king's time period only, the French Revolution started because he was a lazy king. He did not bring any reformation. He did not listen to people. When people were suffering, he was enjoying all his privileges and he did not listen to anyone, any advisor or any person. So these are political reasons. Even not only that, King Louis XIV, he was enjoying all the luxuries. He constructed the Versailles Palace, including everything in gold. So even he was using a golden bedroom. So even the palace gate was a golden palace, right? So now when we just in the slideshow, I will be showing all these things. So these are political reasons. So when we come to economic reasons, many of the majority were farmers. 60% were farmers, or 90% were farmers. So only 10% like the nobles and the aristocrats. So aristocrats means the leaders, nobles, okay, and the priest means the heads of the church. So 90% of the population, the common people, they were farmers. They were suffering because they had no good income. That time period was a kind of a time period for France, which had collapsed the economy. So that because of the unnecessary wars with Great Britain and even joining the prior to the World War. So because of that, what happened? 90% of the common people, they were suffering from economic losses. See, more than 60% of their income, they had to pay as taxes to the government, to the church, and to the nobles. Now they are paying taxes to three categories: the king, the nobles, and the priests, even to the church. So that means they were suffering, but the priests and nobles were enjoying. So a lot of taxes. So that means very inhuman taxes. Those are the things that come under economy. Social reasons, the ideas of that means the social problems that they face as well. The ideas of some of the philosophers like Rousseau, Voltaire, Montesquieu, those things come under social reasons. Now we'll go to the slideshow and we'll discuss these things very clearly in detail. Then we'll go to the short note so that the tube that I have sent you. So we'll fill the tube. Okay. Now we'll go to this slideshow. Right. Now when we come to this one, the French Revolution, the reasons. Right. As I told you, the reasons are very, very important. So we come to the reasons now. Right. So what is French Revolution? So French Revolution. So if there's a question like what is French Revolution? French Revolution is the uprising of the French people against the corrupt monarchy of France in 1789. So what was the year of happening this revolution? 1789. And they established a new ruling system ending of the king's corrupt rule. So then we know that after French Revolution, what happened? That king's corrupt rule had been ended and they started a new ruling system. The main influence of French Revolution, there emerged a great attention on human rights in France and later spread into the other countries in the world. So sometimes they may ask an MCQ, like what was the major results of this French Revolution? So what would be your answer? Your answer will be that a great attention on human rights had been given. France became a country with glory in Europe by 18th century. They had marked a significant development in foreign trade and industrialization. The condition of French farmers was better than the other countries. Now we'll come to political reasons. Now, as I told you, corrupt administration of King Louis XIV. France was ruled by Bourbon monarchy. King Louis XIV and King Louis XV were famous kings of that dynasty. They believed that the kingship was anointed of them by the God. So that means God-given power. They were thinking that they are using God-given power, not the power which had been given by the people. Okay, so as they were using the God-given power, this King Louis XIV and Louis XV, they were autocratic. They did not want to listen to other people, even the State General Council. King Louis XIV, all constitutional, executive, and judicial powers were centralized to the king. That means this person was King Louis XIV. So he was really autocratic because all the powers he had centralized around him. He was memorized by this unlimited power and once exclaimed, I am the kingdom, I am the state. So I told you that there are two statements made by him. One is what? I am the kingdom. What is the other one? Whatever anticipated by me is lawful. So when you write this answer, if they ask a question, what are the reasons that affected for the French Revolution? So here, if you are writing any paragraph on the political reasons, please remember these two statements and exactly write the two statements made by King Louis XIV. But I am the kingdom, and whatever anticipated by me is lawful. So these two statements clearly show the autocratic powers of the king. He enjoyed the power to arrest anybody with any lawsuit and imprison for lifetime. So that means what? He was misusing judicial powers. He was misusing judicial powers. Where he was keeping all these political prisoners. Now all these political prisoners were kept in their Bastille. And King Louis XIV, he used his power to suppress his personal and political enemies, and they were imprisoned in the prison called Bastille prison. And the luxurious life spent by the king. So when you are writing about this King Louis XIV, you have to write about the luxurious life spent by the king. The Versailles Palace, where the king lived, was a massive palace covering several acres. It was full of ponds, flower gardens, and other decorations. He spent such a lot of money to build and decorate Versailles Palace, and only for his comfort. This himself increased the displeasure of French people. And now you can see the Versailles Palace. How beautiful. So several acres, huge palace with all the luxuries, golden bedrooms and golden gate even. See, you can see here a golden gate. All the water parks, the environmental beauty. So he spent such a lot of money on building this Versailles Palace. So that means public money he was using. He was not using his own money. So he was using public money to enjoy his life. He did not come out of this palace. Always he was doing what? He was now see the luxurious bedrooms here, golden bedrooms, right? So like there were 99 bedrooms in his palace like this for the queens and for him. So now see here, once again, the relationship between King Louis XIV and people. Now I told you, he was not coming out of the palace and people were not allowed to go into the palace. Normally, when people wanted to know about the king, they have to ask from the nobles. And king is also asking from the nobles how the people are living. So nobles are telling lies to the king that people are living very happy. Even that when people ask from the nobles how king was living, so then they were telling, he was telling that he was not happy. So however, the king did not get the real ideas of the people. So that's also one of the reasons why he did not pay any attention on the problems of the people. The relationship became distant because the king lived in an enclosed luxurious palace leading a separate lifestyle. The general public were not allowed to enter the palace. Only the priests and aristocrats could enter the palace. The king got news about the country from the aristocrats. They created a completely distorted picture about the country. This made the increase of people's frustration growing. So now see who was this Queen Marie Antonia. Queen Marie Antonia was not the queen of King Louis XIV. She was the queen of King Louis XVI, the last king. So during King Louis XVI only, this happened. So this Queen Marie Antonia was the wife of King Louis XVI, not King Louis XIV. She was a very proud woman. She was not a French woman. Actually, the king brought this queen from Austria. So she was an Austrian queen, very beautiful, and she was very proud. And she was unnecessarily interfering the political matters. But that means now she was not sitting in her that chair, even interfering, because the king was so lazy. King was not bringing any reformation, so that Queen Marie Antonia was unnecessarily interfering the political matters, even the ruling. So weak administrative system. Now see, French monarchy consisted of an advisory board headed by the king and a bench of ministers. All the ministers, even they were corrupt. Even all the officials were corrupt. Okay, all the government officials were corrupted. So because of that, the tax collection became that not good. So that what happened? So the government had to appoint officials known as intendants. Now these are intendants. Who are these intendants? They were the officials appointed by the government to collect taxes in regional areas. But normally, usually, traditionally, the tax collection was with who? The nobles. So the nobles and the intendants, they started fighting between each other. So then they started a fight in between each other. So that was also another the political reason that affected for the French Revolution. Now, laziness of the advisor of King Louis XVI. See, he was the last king. The last king was having an advisor. Who was advisor? Morifa. So Morifa was a lazy official. He did not bring any reformations, and because of that, what happened? So even once again, the people were suffering. Even that I told about the State General Council. What was the State General Council? It was the council, advisory council, which gave advisors to the king. So this State General Council was not gathered by these kings from King Louis XIV. From King Louis XIV, the advisory council was not gathered. So when it comes to this, now this is the advisory board. So when it come to King Louis XVI, it was about 174 years that the advisory board was not gathered to get advices. Now even this started because of suddenly gathering the State General Council, right? Now we'll come to social aspects, right? So political reasons were finished. So we'll come to social aspects. After discussing all the reasons, we'll go to the reasons short note and we'll complete that. So then priests and the aristocrats. There were three social strata as priests, aristocrats, and general public. Priests and aristocrats enjoyed all the social benefits as I told. And among the general public, there were three groups as middle class, farmers, and laborers. The middle class was a group that had earned money by trade and other business transactions. They did not have any political recognition. Priests were exempted from taxes and they lived on a tax money of the general public. Now, priests and nobles, they were not paying any taxes. But the common people, 60% of their income they are paying as taxes. To whom they are paying taxes? To the government they are paying taxes, to the king, and to the church, and to the nobles. So that means priests were not paying any taxes. The church was not paying any taxes, but they are earning taxes. And the nobles, they are not paying any taxes, and they are earning taxes. And they were enjoying, they were given all the privileges. So they were very rich, and they were given all the privileges. What were the privileges that these the priests were enjoying, or the nobles were enjoying? Permission to fish and hunt in any place of the country. Because of that, when they were going on hunting, they were destroying the farmlands of the common people, the poor people, and even they were going on hunt. Because any place they can fish and hunt. Farmers were to go to the grinding mills, wine presses, bakeries owned by the aristocrats and their requirements, and they had to pay very high charges. All these grinding mills, wine presses, bakeries, and everything, they were owned by the aristocrats, that means nobles. Common people, when they wanted to use the grinding mill, they have to go to the grinding mill of the noble. And wine presses of the noble, bakeries of the nobles. So when they were using these things owned by these nobles, they had to pay taxes. Even the aristocrats could collect taxes from the lands of the farmers. And they were exempted from government taxes. It was the middle class that was educated and rich in French society, yet they did not have proper recognition for their status. And that means the people who became rich, they were the middle class, so they were not also given any recognition. That means they cannot go to the council. So you can see here priests and aristocrats, they were actually on the people line, right? So that means enjoying all the privileges. Because of this situation, there emerged a concept that one's standard should be measured based on their ability and the wealth, not on their birth. So when we come to economic conditions, economic reasons, French treasury was completely bankrupt. Why? Because of unnecessary wars engaged there. And the other reason was the excessive expenditure of the King Louis XIV for his luxurious life to build that massive palace with golden things and unnecessary expenditure for war. 7-year war with Britain and supporting the American freedom struggle in the efficient tax system, and the heavy taxes became a burden for French people. So what were the taxes that these people were paying? The general public had to pay about 60% of their income as taxes. What were the taxes? Now these are the taxes. Tail tax. So what are the tail tax? A levy charged on houses and lands on the general public. So general public had to pay a tax for their land and houses. So this was different from areas to areas. So the funniest thing is that the very rich cities like Lyon and Paris, the people, they should not pay any taxes to the government for their land. But only the poor cities, people in poor cities, they have to pay the taxes. So that is the funniest thing, tail tax. Then cities like Lyon and Paris are free of this tax. What is the Gabel tax? So Gabel tax was a tax charged on salt. So every adult had to buy 7 pounds of salt every year. Every year, 7 pounds of salt, every person have to buy. So when we take a family of 5 members, so that means 5 into 7, 35 pounds of salt have to be bought by everyone. So that is too much. Salt is produced freely. For a freely produced something, charging a tax means it's unfair. So the price of salt differed from area to area. Salt was transported illegally. So in one area, salt was cheaper. In one area, salt was very high in price. So because of that, they started transporting salt from the areas where price was low to the areas where price is high. So when doing that, it is illegal. So then the government was obstructing the transportation. So now you can see this is the last one is capitation tax. So what is the capitation tax? Then the body tax. Body tax means everybody has to pay the tax. Everybody has to pay the tax. So now see what are the 3 taxes that the people have to pay: capitation tax, Gabel tax, and the tail tax. So however, there was an area-based administration system. Laws and taxes were different from area to area. So it became an obstacle for the economic development of France because of this. And the middle class people who were engaged in trade had to pay high taxes due to these taxes, laws, and regulations. So the middle class also, they expected an economic development and a freedom, but it was not given by the government. So even the economic security was not given. So philosophical ideas. Now this is who? This is Montesquieu. Montesquieu, he wrote a book, The Spirit of Law. So this book, Spirit of Law, explained the harm in allowing one person to exercise the whole power of a nation and stated that such a condition led to this dictatorship. That means he says one person cannot be given the chance of using all the powers in the country. It should be divided. How? Like the king, the state general council, and the judiciary. But if one person is experiencing all the powers, now that gradually he becomes an autocratic or dictatorship. Dictatorship means autocratic ruler. So that is the idea of Montesquieu. Even this idea supported people to rise against the government with the other person. So he suggested dividing power into 3 institutions as legislature, parliament, and judiciary to avoid dictatorship. The other person was Voltaire. This is Voltaire. What is his idea? He explained the importance of expressing one's own ideas freely. He severely criticized the monarchy and the monopoly of the church. So he did not like the monopoly of the church, the overpower of the church. Even he valued the right of people to criticize the government. And the third person was Rousseau. This is Rousseau, and he presented the concept of people's sovereignty. He wrote a book. It was The Social Contract. So in his book, he explained that the king must work for the betterment of people. If otherwise, the people have the right to chase away such rulers. So if the ruler is not working according to the wishes of the people should have the right to chase away him. Right, now, we'll go to this knot that you have to fill. So here, this is the knot that you have to fill. Yeah, give me 1 minute to take it. Right. So I have uploaded you a tute here. So you have to download it, and then you have to so we are going to fill that short note. That is very important because that is short note, right? Okay. So important revolutions of the world. So French Revolution. French Revolution means what? So you can write here the red color things. This is the uprising of the French people against the monarchy of France in 1789 and the establishment of a new ruling system. So you have sent me a lot of messages. I have no time to read those messages because it takes time. If so that sometimes we cannot finish entire thing. So if I have the time, I will read them. Okay. So you can write in your queue. So what is French Revolution? The uprising of the French people against the monarchy of France in 1789 and the establishment of a new ruling system. Slogan of the French Revolution. So that's very important. In some MCQ, they are asking, what is the slogan? Slogan is freedom, equality, and brotherhood. So in every revolution, there are slogans like that. Okay. Right. So when explaining that the slideshows, I might be a little bit faster, but now here once again we are just going slow. Okay. Okay, then we come to reasons that affected political or social factors that affected the divine power used by King Louis XIV and Louis XV. So what do you mean by divine power? The God-given power. So they were thinking that they were using God-given power. And autocratic power used by King Louis XIV. Now see the two statements made by King Louis XIV and the state. Whatever anticipated by me is lawful. So what is the use of these two statements? To show his autocratic power. To show his autocratic power. So what is the evidence to show that he was misusing judicial powers? Arresting political prisoners and keeping in Bastille prison. So arresting his political prisoners and keeping in Bastille prison. So what was Bastille prison? It was the prison where his political opponents were kept after arresting. So then we can see the luxurious life spent by the king by constructing the Versailles palace with very valuable creations. So then you can explain if you are given a question like this, how he constructed, okay, how he constructed his Versailles palace with luxurious things, like the luxurious, the golden bedrooms, even the fence was a golden fence, even including a lot of water gardens, lot of acres of garden. Okay, so maintaining those things, maintaining the palace, constructing the palace. So for that he has to spend money of the people. Then the relationship between the king and the common people had been expanded. So why? Common people are not allowed to go into the palace, and the king was not coming out of the palace. So king was asking about the common people from the nobles. Even common people were asking about the king from the nobles. Nobles are telling lies to both sides. So because of that, the king was not aware of the real problems of the common people and the corruptions of the board of ministers and the inefficiency of them. So the board of ministers were corrupted, all the officials were corrupted, all they were working for money, right? And all they were doing corruptions. So all they were against the common people. And the problems occurred in the regional administration as appointment of the social officials called intendants. Who were intendants? Now the ministers are corrupt. Nobles were corrupted. They were not doing their work very well. So the collection of taxes was done in inefficient way. So that what happened? So the government had to appoint officials called intendants to collect taxes. So normally tax collection was done by the nobles, and the nobles and intendants, they had a problem. So that also caused there were problems between aristocrats and intendants regarding the tax collection. So that was also. Right, so then the People's Council called State General Council was not gathered for about 175 years. So I told you from the time of King Louis XIV, this State General Council was not gathered. So what was the State General Council? It was the council, the advisory council in France. Right, the advisory council in France. So in this, this advisory council was not gathered for about how many years? For about 175 years, from the time of King Louis XIV. From the time of King Louis XIV. So as I told you, nobles were enjoying all the privileges. Okay, so that they had the chance of hunting and fishing at any time, any place in the country. So because of that, even sometimes destroying the farmlands of the common people, they were going on hunting and they were doing fishing. So they had the right of obtaining taxes from common people. They should not pay any taxes to the government. And even they were enjoying a high luxurious life while the common people were suffering. So the common people, they have seen all these luxurious life. Only 10% of the population, 90% were farmers, common people, they were suffering. Only 10%, priests and the nobles, they were only enjoying the privileges. So these were the special privileges enjoyed by the nobles. So what are the special privileges? Ability of hunting in any place, obtaining taxes from common people, being exempted from paying taxes, expenses on unnecessary wars, so all these things come under what? Political reasons. Now see here, reasons that affected political and social factors here. I'm going to show you then one question, and I'm going to show you one possible question that may come at the answer. So now see here, priests and aristocrats were the privileged group in the French society. So after discussing economic factors, we'll go to that question and see. So one possible question. So here we were discussing up to this, the reasons, the factors. So once I explain these things on the board, the second time with the slideshow, I just have gone with a little rush. Now in the short note, we are writing the political and social reasons. Now these are the economic factors. Harassing taxation system, I told you common people very poor, they were farmers, majority were farmers. So their earning was very less, but the 60% of their income or the earning they had to pay as taxes. So what were the taxes they had to pay? So they had to pay taxes to the government, they had to pay taxes to the Catholic Church, to the priest, and they had to pay taxes to the nobles. So even there were 3 high taxes that had been implemented for them. So what are the 3 taxes? Gavel tax, capitation tax, and the tail tax. So what are the tail tax? Tail tax was the tax obtained for the usage of the land and the houses of the common people. Right? So common people had to pay a tax to the government for using the land for using a land. So that means land belongs to the government as they implemented the law. So they have to pay tax to the government for the land they are using, for the house they are using. But the funniest thing is what? This land tax should not be paid by the people, rich people in rich cities. So when we take the tail tax, the levy charge on houses and lands of the general public. This was different from area to area. Cities like Lyon and Paris were free of this tax. So this Lyon and Paris were the cities where very rich people were living in France. But they should not pay any of taxes like the tail tax. But the people who live in very poor cities, they have to pay this tax. So that's so funny, you know, normally from the rich people, they have to take the tax. But here they are taking the tax how? From the poor people. And then we'll see the Gabel tax. So what is the Gabel tax? It was a salt tax. Salt tax means for the salt that government is freely producing, the people have to pay a tax. So that means every person had to buy 7 pounds of salt every year. 7 pounds of salt every year. So then, when we take a family of 5 or 6 members, how many pounds of salt they have to buy every year? So that means 6 into 7, 42 pounds. Now here pound is not like 1 kilo. 1 kilo is less than 1 pound. So that means a huge amount of salt. So they have nothing to do with that salt because that much of salt is not needed for their life, for the entire year. But they have to buy it. That means they have to pay for the government as a tax. That is the capital tax. So the price of salt different from area to area. Because of that, transportation of salt was illegal. So some people, they wanted to buy salt from the places where it was low in price and transport it to a place where it is high in price and sell it. But it was not prohibited. It was prohibited. It was not allowed by the government. So that is the capital tax. It was the capital tax. So then we come to the capitation tax. So what is capitation tax? The body tax. Everybody has to pay. Okay, only nobody is not paying. Everybody has to pay this tax, capitation tax. So these are the main 3 taxes. Sometimes in structured essay question they are asking, what are the 3 types of taxes that the French people have to pay? Tail tax, gabelle tax, and the capitation tax. Tail tax, gabelle tax, and the capitation tax. So other than this, political philosophies, I showed you 3 political philosophers, Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Rousseau. So Montesquieu, he wrote a book. What is the name of the book? The Spirit of Law. In his books, The Spirit of Law, he explained the harm in allowing one person to exercise the whole power of the nation. So that means if we give all the power to one person, to handle the administration, all judicial, all executive, all legislative powers, it's very harmful. That person, because of the overpower, he will become autocratic and he become an autocratic person. So then he will not do something good for the country. So that is the idea of Montesquieu. So when writing answers, you have to include this, the ideas of Montesquieu. So this comes under political ones again, right? Because political philosophy is. So then we'll come to Voltaire. So Voltaire says, he explained the importance of expressing one's own ideas freely. So that means the right of speech. The right of speech means what? That every person should have the right to criticize the government, criticize the wrong works of the government. So that was not given by King Louis XIV. If anyone expressed the opposite ideas to the government, he was imprisoned in the Bastille prison. So they were known as political prisoners. They were known as political prisoners. And Rousseau's idea, what was the idea of the Rousseau? So Rousseau presented the idea, the concept of the people's sovereignty. The people's sovereignty. So what do you mean by people's sovereignty? People should have the power to remove the ruler. So people should have the power to remove the ruler. So at that time, the kings were given the power by the lineage. That means from father to the son, from father to the son. So that's why they were thinking that they were using God-given power. But presently we are appointing our president through the elections. So here he says, Rousseau says, people should have the power to remove any ruler if the ruler is corrupt. So he wrote this one in the book known as the Social Contract. In the book known as the Social Contract. So these are the political philosophies of three political philosophers, Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Rousseau. I think now you got it clearly, the reasons. So until now, for 50 minutes, I was explaining the reasons, because reasons are very important. How the struggle happened is not important, as I told you. The results also very few information is given in the book, but we have discussed a lot of questions related to that, because it was the only question that had been given in the exam about the results of the French Revolution. Okay, now I think you understood all these things. Now see, once again, I will go back to the first page. Here we just discussed about the slogan of the French Revolution that's important for MCQs, freedom, equality, and brotherhood. Then the political and social factors about this King Louis XIV and Louis XV. So they were autocratic rulers. And King Louis XIV started the autocratic rule. So the two statements of him, like I am the state and whatever anticipated by me is lawful, they are important to show that he is autocratic. So this shows that everything had been organized according to his wish. His wish. So now see, the King Louis XIV arrested all these political opponents and kept in the Bastille prison. And then he was leading a luxurious life by constructing a very luxurious palace, Versailles Palace, with gold. And his relationship between the with the people was very less. And even that the board of ministers were very corrupted. Even they did not allow the intendants to work properly. And State General Council was the advisory council for the government or to the king. So, and it was not gathered for about 175 years. And nobles and priests were enjoying special privileges. Common people were suffering. And even that harassing taxation system, 60% of the taxes earning of the common people had to be paid as taxes. And these were the three taxes that they paid: tail tax, gabelle tax, and capitation tax. Tail tax was the tax of that the people had paid for the houses and land. Gabelle tax was the soil tax, unfair tax. Capitation tax was the body tax. And the ideas of Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Rousseau, they are also very important. So you have to remember these things to discuss this question. So now I'm going to this one, multiple choice questions. I'm just discussing later on. So this is a kind of this is a kind of model question. What are the reasons that affected for the birth of French Revolution? So once again, as there are new people, I'm just going to show you how to write an answer. So when writing an answer, now see, if this is a question, explain the factors. Explain the factors affected for the French Revolution under three headings. Under three headings. So this is how the question is given. If so, you have to name the heading. Name the heading. So I can just explain that right here. Political factors. Political factors. So after that, you have to write a paragraph. So you have to write a paragraph about these political factors. You can include the autocratic power of King Louis XIV, King Louis XV, and even laziness of King Louis XVI, and the unnecessary interference to the political matters by Queen Marie Antoinette, and even the political philosophies of Montesquieu, Rousseau, and Voltaire. So all these things you can write as a paragraph. So they expect to write these as a paragraph. So now this may include like 8 to 10 lines is enough. So 8 to 10 lines. So you can just write a paragraph. Now then the second heading you can write economic factors. Economic factors. Right? So then once again a paragraph. Then the third one is social factors. Social factors. So once again, then the paragraph. So this is how the marks are given. So normally for this question, 6 marks. If they are giving a question to write under 3 headings, they are allocating 6 marks. For the 3 headings, they are giving 1, 1, 1. And for the explanation, 1, 1, 1. So this is how the marks are given. So you have to write a heading which is related or relevant to the question. So if you are writing the heading, irrelevant heading, you are not given the marks. So for the heading, there must be a relevance. Even you have to support your heading through the paragraph. So paragraph you are writing to support the heading. So when you are writing your political factors and you are explaining economic factors here, you are not given this one because for this answer they give marks as content and relevance. Content and relevance. So content must be there, information must be there, relevance must be there. Now here in my view, I just don't write paragraphs. I just include all the, I just list out the information, but using those information, you have to write a paragraph. So that is the method of writing answers. Okay, that's the method of writing answers. Right. Now we'll see. This is the one of the possible questions. What are the reasons that affected for the birth of French Revolution? Here I have not written as what 3 headings or 2 headings. So, however, I have taken the political fact as autocracy of French monarchy. Now here I have taken political reasons, but now if you want to give an exact reason, here you can write that one: autocracy of French monarchy. Autocracy of French monarchy. So that is also a possible heading. So in the exam also, if you are writing any heading, normally in the marking scheme, they are giving some headings. If the student had written under these headings, give marks, and then they say at the end, if the student had taken any other heading other than the marking scheme, if it is relevant, just give the marks. So here it's your liberty, freedom to select any of the these headings and write under them. So my heading here is what? Autocracy of French monarchy. Now see what we can write under autocracy of French monarchy. Now King Louis XIV. About King Louis XIV we can write. What we can write? He was an autocratic ruler who had centralized all legislative, executive, and judicial powers around him. So like that you can write. So even you can write King Louis XIV was an autocratic king who misused judicial powers. Not only that, you have to give evidence. What is the evidence to show that he was misusing judicial powers? He had arrested all his political opponents and political enemies had imprisoned in Bastille prison. Okay, so political enemies had been imprisoned in Bastille prison. So sometimes, as this lesson had not been taught in the school yet, some may feel that this is I'm rushing to rushing through the lesson. Yeah, in a seminar like we can't wait like in a theory class. In a theory class, I'm going very slowly and I'm just in detail. A description is given and explanation is given. But in a seminar, normally what we do, a seminar is useful for someone who has studied the lesson as a revision. So then we are rushing through the notes and we are rushing through this information. So if this is not good for a person who had not touched the lesson. So this is important for a person at least who had read the lesson in the textbook. So that's why this happens. So when you join these the theory classes or paper classes normally, actually that in detail description you can get, even that proper the explanation, everything you can get. And we can wait and we have time, much time. Here we have only 2 hours. Within 2 hours, we have to finish this entire thing. So the most important thing is the results. At least we have to go for results and the question. Now I told you that the 2 statements made by him and the state, whatever anticipated by me is lawful, have to be included in your answer. And you have to write about unnecessary expenditure of him, the luxurious life spent by the king by constructing the Versailles palace with very valuable creations. So you just can write that golden bedrooms, golden gate, and everything you can write. King Louis XV continued the same corrupt rule King Louis XVI was a lazy ruler who did not bring any reformations. Now, when you write about King Louis XIV, Louis XV, and Louis XVI, even you can include about Maria Antonia, the wife of King Louis XVI, the last king, and her unnecessary interference. That is the answer. Though I give you this one as a point in the point form, you have to write everything as a paragraph. I think you can understand what I tell. So you have to write as a paragraph only. Right? So only here, I'm just listing out all the information. Right. So I just give you the time to write anything. If you want any notes, so this tute I have uploaded to the website. Sometimes this lesson you might have not learned in the school yet. So we were discussing only the reasons for the French Revolution. So this question has not come yet. Only about the results they have given the question. Right. So then social and economic factors I have taken together. So here I have written here the answer. When the thinking as the question had been given to write under two headings. What is the second heading? Social and economic factors. So by the time of the revolution, there existed. Now see, now here you can see. I have given this as a paragraph. Okay. So this is a model paragraph that you have to write. By the time of the revolution, there existed a feudal society in France. The feudal system was a monarchy that was run with the help of aristocrats who had captured land in mass masses. There were three social strata as priests, aristocrats, and common people. Priests and aristocrats enjoyed all the social benefits. Among the general public, there were three groups as middle class, farmers, and laborers. Okay. So now here I have introduced you a kind of format that you have to follow when writing answers. The middle class was a group who earned money by trade and business transactions, and the condition of them were better than farmers and laborers. Yet they did not have any political right. Aristocrats were enjoying privileges. Now this is the format. So here social and economic factors I have included here. So here, when we take the reasons, we have a lot of information. So like here, we have included about the ideas of Rousseau, Montesquieu, and Voltaire for the political factors. So here you can write a very big paragraphs. Though you have a lot of information, don't write very big paragraphs. Summarize it when you have the factors. When you don't have the factors, try to expand. So then we'll come to this once again, yet they did not have this one. The aristocrats were enjoying privileges like what? Ability of hunting in any place. So now if an able person is writing this one, he even can extend that. Why? What is the harm of hunting in any place? The harm is that they are just destroying the farmlands of the common people and hunting. So obtaining taxes from common people, being exempted from paying taxes. Okay, so they did not pay any taxes. So this is something wrong I have included, or don't write expenses on unnecessary loss. The French treasury was completely bankrupt due to the excessive expenditure for the luxurious life spent by the king. So he was unnecessarily spending on the foreign wars, for the war that he had with Great Britain for the supremacy, and to construct the massive palace. So the inefficient taxation system to influence more than 60% of the income of the common people had to be paid as taxes. Now you can include the 3 types of taxes even under economic factors. So that's why I told you for this question, lot of information you have. So this may come as a question this time because they have already asked about the results 2 times. So maybe they can ask about the reasons for the French Revolution. So American War of Independence had not been given until now as a big question. Even the Russian Revolution had been given incorporate with this one because the results of the French Revolution and Russian Revolution just alike. So then they can give that question in that way. With joining to this one. Okay, tail tax you can write. The tail tax is what? The tax on land and houses. Gabel tax is what? It is the tax on salt. The tax on salt. And the capitation tax is what? It is the body tax. So everyone has to pay the capitation tax. Now we discussed one model question that is related to reasons. Now I told you in this French Revolution what is important, reasons and results. So we discussed the question, model question related to reasons. How it happened will not be given as a question. How it happened will not be given as a question. So now see entire 4th page is what? It is the model question, but reasons that affected for the French Revolution. If that question comes. From French Revolution, if a question comes, it may be reasons, either reasons or results. No any other question. Okay, then I am moving on to the next question. Past paper questions, you can see. Okay, before going to past paper questions, we'll discuss how it happened through this one. So through the tutorial, okay? So I'm not going to just struggle. So uprisings were started on 14th July 1789. So because of what? Because of a tax reformation. So I'm just going to the whiteboard. So the king wanted to implement a tax reformation. The king wanted to implement a tax reformation. So he had to get some advices. So for the first time, he called the State General Council. So for the first time, he called the State General Council. So then, normally the State General Council, they have to, who are the members of the State General Council? Nobles were there, priests were there, and common people were there. So these are the 3 groups in the State General Council. The advisory board. Nobles and priests, they did not like to gather with the common people because they were having a pride. No, they were actually 10% in the population. Here, this is the 90%. So because of that, what happened? The king was late to come for this meeting. The State General Council, he gathered it for a tax reformation to get the ideas of the people. So before that, nobles and priests, they told the common people, okay, we cannot gather with you and you will go out. So nobles and priests, the idea of the nobles and priests had been accepted by the king. So king also accepted the idea of the nobles and priests together separately. So king gathered with the nobles and the priests and the common people. They gathered outside the palace in an indoor tennis court. So in an indoor tennis court, they gathered. So this was the first time that they had an idea that we have to drive away this corrupt king and the government. So it was known as, now they have made an oath in that indoor tennis court. It was known as famous oath in the tennis court. So this famous oath in the tennis court is related to French Revolution. Sometimes in MCQs they are asking to what revolution this famous oath in the tennis court is related to. So it's made by the common people, 90%. Common people, they gathered in an indoor tennis court outside the palace and they have made that oath. From there only the struggle started. Then they wanted to attack Bastille prison. So Bastille prison was the prison where the political prisoners were kept. So they want to attack that and release the political prisoners. That is the second step. The first step was gathering in an indoor tennis court and making an oath. Second step, attacking the Bastille prison and releasing political prisoners. Third step was that the struggle against the government. However, the King Louis XVI, the last king, he was fled because of this. So now here, this is how the struggle happened. So this is not important. So only in MCQ, they are asking about this famous oath in the tennis court that they may ask in MCQs, right? And they may ask that how it was started with that attacking of the Bastille prison. And then what happened? The king was fled. Now, who was the last king at that time? King Louis XVI. Like that, some MCQs may ask from this section. So that's why I'm not going in detail to that section. So now see here. Now this is what it happened. Uprisings were started on 14 July 1789. Tax reformations activated by the government did not work. King gathered State General Council after 175 years. But the nobles and priests, they did not lie together with the common people. Nobles and priests became against the suggestions of the middle class. Middle class members gathered to a nearby indoor tennis court and they made the famous oath in the tennis court. On 14 July 1789, the armed struggle started with the attack of Bastille prison and King Louis XVI could not control the situation and he was fled. So this is how the struggle happened. This is how the French Revolution happened. This is a very long story, but here we write as a very small summary because it's not important. It is only important for MCQs. I think you understood the struggle, how it happened. The major thing related to French Revolution is what? Reasons that affected. Now see the results. Results only this much they have given in the book. The king and the queen were fled and they were captured and given the death penalty. Introduction of Human Rights Declaration in 1791. French monarchy had been collapsed. French farmers received relief. Political instability had been emerged and Napoleon Bonaparte, a commander, had captured the power of the country. Now we'll see the past paper questions that had been given related to the results. Now I think you cannot answer any of the questions by such a small summary like this. Now we'll see, we'll go to C. So I think you completed all these notes. Complete it, I'm giving 1 minute to complete that note. So while discussing, you can complete. So then we will go to that model question or the past paper question. Okay, so now I'm going to the past paper question. So if you want, I just can give you this printed note. That means printed note means that filled note. If anyone wants that, I can just send you through WhatsApp. So if you request me, my number is this one. So I can just send you to this one if you want, right? So I have sent you my number, right? Okay, so this field note I can give. If anyone had not downloaded this, so then I can just send you this completed note, right? Now past paper questions. I'm going to past paper questions, page number 5. This is the question at question 8, 2016. So what is the question? Name 3 philosophers who express ideas that helped the French Revolution. We know Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Rousseau. So very easy 3 marks. Very easy 3 marks. Second one, write suitable answers to the information given in ABC. D, selecting from the answers given below with the brackets. The rule of France during the French Revolution. So what did he ask? King Louis XVI. So during King Louis XVI only that this revolution happened. Okay. Right. So brief now. This is the only question related to this French Revolution. There are some normally 4 questions. I have not given the other questions because the other questions may be related to some other fact. So now see here, briefly discuss two main changes occurred in France after French Revolution. So what is this question? What they are asking? They are asking about the results, right? If you are writing this answer, what you can write as that the result as the changes of the French Revolution. Now see here. So if you are taking this question, changes in France after French Revolution. So you can just write one heading as ending of the corrupt monarchy. Ending of the corrupt monarchy. Okay. Okay. And establishment of a new rule. So that is what. So this is one heading. Second thing, now they have captured the king. They have given the death penalty to the king. After that, they established a very good administrative system. The farmers are given all the privileges, and people's human rights have been just given more attention, and they were protected. But what happened after that? The country that France was a country that it was under a corrupt monarchy, autocratic power for a long time. So they could not enjoy this democracy. So because they could not enjoy the democracy, what happened? So once again, an autocratic ruler like known as that Bonaparte, he was an army general. He captured the power in France. So that is also you can take as a change, because after this change, what change came? That autocratic ruler once again recaptured the power of France. Now see the answer here. So what is that answer? Here, this one is the answer then. I have taken emergence of an interest of human rights and farmers and laborers receiving a relief. Now see, that is a very good heading. So I told you that headings you can select as you like. Now on the board, I just got ending of the corrupt monarchy. Here I have taken emergence of an interest on human rights and farmers and laborers receiving a relief. So what is the answer? The French Revolution was a struggle against the corrupt monarchy in France. After the revolution, there arose an interest on human rights, not only in France, even all over the world. The revolutionists published Human Rights Convention in 1791. So Human Rights Convention, after capturing the king, after ending the monarchy, they published Human Rights Convention. So Human Rights Convention means what? So valuing and accepting the human rights of the people. It explained that the fundamental human rights are rights that the people are born with and not something that is given by the rulers. Now, these are some of the concepts which have been included to this Human Rights Convention. But every human being should have equal rights because everybody is born a free individual. Every citizen has a right to be a part of imposing laws. Every citizen should have the right to express their ideas freely and follow any religion they like. Okay, now see, these human rights have been included to the Human Rights Convention, which had been published in 1791. So now see, emergence of an interest on human rights and farmers and laborers receiving a relief. You have to write the paragraph supporting the heading that you are writing. You have to support the heading that you write. So if you are writing something as a heading and if you are explaining something, no relevance is there. So the marks are not given. So once again, I have to tell you, I just rushed through the lesson here because in a seminar, normally we do like that. Discussing questions and explaining the factors or information as a short note. But in a theory class, it's not like that. I'm taking even sometimes 4 days or 8 hours to complete this section. In detail, information is given. Okay, so much explanation. So in a seminar, we can't do like that because we are given only 2 hours. Within 2 hours, we are just discussing reasons, how it happened, and the results, everything. So for a person who had at least read the lesson, a seminar is important. But for a person newly listening, Sometimes this may like a kind of mess because I'm rushing through the lesson, I'm rushing through the reasons. But remember, 3 times I explained the reasons here on the board, in the with the slides, and in the tute. So that means now already it might be internalized to your mind because like the reasons, political reasons, what are the political reasons, what are the social factors, what are the economic factors, the three types of taxes, everything. So now see, this much of information is not there in your textbook to write this answer. But this is how the model answer had been given in the marking scheme. Now the concept that the freedom, equality, and brotherhood. Now see the slogan of the French Revolution I have brought to the answer. Freedom, equality, and brotherhood, which were the main slogan of the French Revolution, had high regard in the 3 quotations of the above mentioned human rights. The social inequality in France had been vanished by including fundamental human rights to the convention. So I have included about the rights of the farmers and laborers. So that also I have to include the answer. If not, my heading is not relevant. My explanation is not relevant to the heading. So then there's a mistake. So I have included that also. So here, the social inequality in France had been vanished by including fundamental human rights to the convention, so that the relief had been provided for farmers and laborers. What was the relief that had been given? Farmers were given land, laborers were given tax relief. So you can just write them as examples. So 1 minute to write if anyone wants to write. So we have that grade 11 theory class, 10 theory class, and 1 express revision program here. So I have just given you the timetable of that express revision program that we go on. So you just can join them and get a good type of knowledge. So remember, the textbook is only not enough to write answers. Writing answers is a different skill. Writing answers is a different skill. And see the second heading that I have selected. What is the second heading? Collapse of the French monarchy and emergence of political instability. So there I have taken ending of the corrupt monarchy as a second heading. Now see here what happened. The French Revolution was a struggle against the corrupt monarchy. After the revolution, the French monarchy had been downfallen and a new democratic rule had been started. Yes, they ended the corrupt monarchy, they ended the autocratic monarchy, and they started a new ruling system. So, but France as a country that had been experiencing a tough monarchical rule could not enjoy the democracy for a long time. So normally that happens. A set of people who were under autocratic power of a person, if they were ruled for a long time like that, once again, so suddenly they cannot enjoy the democracy. So governments change in quick succession after the revolution, creating a political instability. So this they have not explained in detail in the textbook. Okay. So this is because of the different ideas of those who led the revolution. They had different ideas and beliefs. This situation lasted for a political instability. Because of this unstable situation, Napoleon Bonaparte, an army officer, captured power in France in 1789. After that, it was a completely new political system that existed in France. Okay, so now see, that is the answer. So this answer was the answer for the essay type question number 3. Sorry, third part of the essay type question number 9 in 2016. So this answer was for what? This one. So this is the third question of the 8th question of 2016 oral paper. Now see how important this lesson for an essay type question. Yeah, how many marks? 3, 4, and 5 means 9 marks. Maybe the fourth section was about another section. Now we'll discuss this one. So this select question of question number 9, 2018. So now see 16 came, 17 did not come. 18 it came, 19 and 20 was not there. So this time 21 may be a question. So briefly explain two economic factors that contributed for the French Revolution. So here that this question, I have given a model question here. This one here, the economic factors they have divided. You have divided into two and have to explain. See here, economic factors. Now, when I take the economic factors, my first heading is collapse of the French treasury and economic problems experienced by France. Collapse of the French treasury and economic problems experienced by France. So you can take from here the answer. So the answer you can take from here. Here economic factors. So from here you can just take that answer. And I have not written that answer. So my second heading, inequality of the economic rights of the French. So what is this inequality? French population consisted of mainly three groups as priests, aristocrats and common people. Aristocrats and the priests were exempted from paying taxes, while common people have to pay a lot of taxes in the government, church and aristocrat. Now inequality. That means common people and the priests and the nobles, they were unequal in economic rights. Common people were consisted of middle class, farmers and laborers. The middle class was consisted with traders and industrialists. Their living condition was far better than farmers and laborers. They had the economic ability of paying taxes, but farmers and laborers were severely affected by increasing tax burden. So that the farmers and laborers were the main two groups who led the struggle against the corrupt monarchy as they were economically affected. The land tax, called tail tax, was not charged from the main cities like Lyon and Paris, where rich were living. So that was all included to show the economic inequality. The poor people are paying high taxes, rich people are not paying taxes. But it was obtained from smaller cities that show the inequality of economic rights of the French. See my paragraph to support the inequality of the economic rights of the French. Is that answer there in that textbook? No. So now see, using a small information in the textbook, sometimes we have to write very broad answers. For that, you need a support. Without the support, without the guidance, you cannot do that. So that's why I tell you always, by hearting the textbook, you cannot get an A pass from the exam because you must be guided how to write answers. How to write, what to write in answers and how to write answers. So then only you can get easily a kind of effective writing, and then you can get an A pass from the exam. So you need a guidance. So it must be done either from the school, either from the class. Okay. So now see my two headings here. Briefly explain the economic factors that contributed for the French Revolution. Collapse of the French treasury and economic problems experienced by French. So here you can write why French treasury had been collapsed due to that spending for the unnecessary wars and the luxurious life of the king. And here economic problems you can write what? The high taxes, high taxation system and the taxes page by page. And I have taken inequality of economic rights of the French people. So that that affected for the French Revolution. Now see, question number 9, 2018, the second question here. So it is about the reasons. It is about the reasons. And in the same question. So these are the two questions that have come in the past papers. So here I have given you the program, that express program. Now we'll go to this MCQs. We have not done the MCQs. We'll do the MCQs and see what are the things that have come as past paper questions. Now see, here we discussed today the reasons for the French Revolution here. So once again, I am just going through, rushing through it. So here the slogan of the French Revolution is very important: freedom, equality, and brotherhood. So the two statements done made by King Louis XIV is very important because it shows the autocracy of that king. And Bastille prison is the place where he kept the political opponents, and even that the problems related to these aristocrats and the priests and the common people. And here the special privileges enjoyed by the nobles and the priests, and the economic problems here, the three types of taxes that the common people are paying, and even that the philosophies of Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Rousseau, and how the struggle happened and what were the results. Now we'll go to this MCQs, multiple choice questions, 2017. Now this is the 32nd and 33rd question of the paper. All in the tennis court and Sarajevo incident. I told you, no, all in the tennis court. It is given as an MCQ. So Sarajevo incident, it is related to World War I. And all in the tennis court is related to French Revolution. So what is the question? Regarding the French Revolution, A and B are incorrect. A and B are correct. A is correct while B is incorrect. A is incorrect while B is correct. Now my answer is also incorrect. Regarding the French Revolution, what is correct? A is correct, B is incorrect. So what is the answer? Not this first one. It must be A is correct while B is incorrect. So this is the answer. So even if there are anyone in grade 10, so they can join the new paper classes started tomorrow, from tomorrow onwards, on Sundays from 11 to 1, targeting on the term test. The term. Yes, sir.
Students, anyone wants to join? How to join the classes? Raise your hand. Okay, many students, they are raising the hands. Okay, fine. So, Buddha, listen to me very carefully. Now, I am going to explain you not only how to join the classes, I am going to explain you how to download the tunes also. Our old students, they know this one Buddha very well. Our old students, they know this one Buddha very well. So, I'll tell you how to Buddha join our Buddha classes and how to download the tunes. So, if anyone is Buddha willing to join the classes, okay, you should visit our website Buddha. You should visit our website EDU-ZONE Okay, 1 second. Okay, you should visit our website EDU-ZONE Once you visit our website, if anyone like this only, you have to join. If anyone is after you visiting our website, first of all, click the student login. After you click in the student login, so if you are a new student, first of all, you have to fill this registration form that is totally free of charge. Here you have to enter your name, your email address, and you can enter our preferred password. And after that, enter your the mobile number. Okay, enter your mobile number, enter your school, and select the grade and select the medium. After you selecting the medium, click the register. After you clicking the register option, here you will get a green color message. That means you have successfully registered. Now you can log in. So you will get about green color message here. After you getting the message, you can enter your email address and the password. Which email address and which password when you are registering, you gave email address. So that email address only you have to enter here. Which password you have to enter here? When you are registering, you gave a password no here. That password only you have to enter here. Better enter a numerical number password here, Buddha. That is better. Okay. So here I'll enter mine. And enter your the password and click the sign in. After you clicking the sign in, Buddha, if anyone is willing to download the tutor or join the classes, listen to me very carefully. First of all, you have to select the grade 9, 10, 11. Select the medium, English medium. Select the subject, Buddha, history. After you selecting the history, Buddha, select the lecturer, Anuradha, Dayarathna, and click show live lesson. After you click in the what Buddha show live lesson, it will be like this only Buddha. If anyone wants to download the tune, first of all, you have to click this join page. Here there is a red color label. No. If you click this one only Buddha, the tunes will be visible for you. So after you click in that one Buddha, here there is an option called what Buddha tutorial. This is your tune. If you click this one Buddha, straight away you can what Baba download the tune from our website. If you click this one, straight away you can download the what Buddha the tune from our website. Okay, so that is the way of downloading the tune. Second one, if anyone is willing to join the what Buddha the classes, here there are what Baba so many packages are there. Can join the express revision grade 10 and the grade 11. So the revision grade 10 class, grade 11, the total fees is 2000. So if anyone is what Baba willing to join only the revision program is 1200. If anyone is willing to join only the grade 10, 1200. If anyone is willing to join the what Buddha grade 11, you can join the add this lesson Buddha the 1400. So like that only Buddha you have to what Baba select. So assume Buddha if anyone is selecting the what Buddha this program. So first of all what you should do, you have to click the add lesson. After you click in the add lesson Buddha, it says requested. That means you made only a request, still you didn't make the payment. You made only a request Buddha, still you didn't make the what Buddha the payment. Okay. So in order to get the Zoom link like this, here this is our Zoom link. No, we are not sending the what Baba link in the WhatsApp Buddha. We are uploading the link in our website only. So you should join through our website only. So if anyone Baba wants to get the Zoom link, you have to make the payment before the first class. So then only Buddha you can join the what Buddha classes. So now the question is, so how to make the payment? There are two options Buddha. The option number one, you can deposit the money to this bank account number. For all the EDU-ZONE class payment Buddha, you have to make the payment to this account number. Okay, you can make the payment to this account number and simply take a picture of the deposit slip and you can upload it in our website. Very easy than the WhatsApp Buddha. So how to upload it Buddha? First of all, you have to select the choose file and select the image from the gallery and don't forget to click the upload option. After you click in the upload option, you have to click OK 2 times. After you click in the OK Buddha, the receipt will be uploaded like this. The receipt will be visible like this after you click in the OK 2 times. But don't forget the main thing, before you upload in the deposit slip, you have to write down these 4 details on the top of the deposit slip with a pen. You have to write down those details with a pen, and after that only you have to upload it in the website Buddha. So what are the 4 details? You have to write down the name of the student, your name, the lecturer name, the subject, and the month. So those 4 details you have to write with a pen. After that, take a picture, and after that only Buddha, you have to upload it in the website like this. That is the first method. Baba, if anyone is making an online payment, when you are making an online payment, Buddha, when you are making a what? Online payment, okay, so in the beneficiary account narration or in the remark, you have to type the details. You can write it there. You have to type these details in a what Baba short form, and after that only you can make the payment, and after that take a screenshot of that and you can upload it in our website. Okay, that is the first method. Second method, Baba, I like this method only Buddha. This is very convenient, very convenient. If you have a debit card or a credit card, so what you can do Buddha, simply you can make online payment. So what you should do, pay online now option. After that, you will get several options. You can pay through Visa card, Mastercard, American Express, Discover. Okay, like that, Buddha, you will get several options. You will get Buddha several options. So if you choose the Visa card means Buddha, you have to enter only 4 details Buddha. Very easy. No need to go to the bank also. Your credit card holder's name, credit card or debit card number. Behind the card, there is an option called Baba CVV number. Behind the card, there is a CVV number. And enter the expiry date. And after that, click pay. After you clicking the pay Buddha, Okay, there you will get a what, Baba? Verification code to your mobile. Okay, that is we call as what, Buddha? OTP. Enter the OTP in the relevant box. Enter the OTP in the what, Buddha? In the relevant box. You will get a box like this, and in that enter the OTP and again click pay. So if you click the pay, Buddha, then and there your payment will be activated. After the payment is activated, Buddha, after the payment is activated, you will get the Zoom link like this. Requested will be converted into paid. After that, below the next session date, you will get the what, the Zoom link. Okay, like that only we have to join the what, the classes. We are not sharing the link in the WhatsApp, which not shareable links, we can't share it. So we, if you want, you should get the link from the what, website only, very safe also. Okay, so Baba, another one more thing I want to say you. You have uploaded the deposit slip. Assume after you uploading the deposit slip with the detail, still if it is requested mean, okay, call the below the website. There are two numbers. First one is mine. Don't call my number, Buddha. Okay, second number is our cashier's number. Call this number and inform her that you made the payment and ask her to what, Baba, accept your payment. So then she will accept your what, Baba, the payment. Okay, like that only, Buddha, you have to what, Baba, join the, after it's requested converted into paid, below the next session date, you will get the Zoom link like this. Okay, that's it, sir. So you can continue the sessions.
Okay, right now we are discuss a small thing like this MCQs, right? So now the first one's answer is this one, no? So then the same question regarding the verb of one, what is correct? B is correct then. So then E is incorrect while B is correct. So that is the answer for the second one. Then see the 39th question of 2019. So normally from French Revolution, in some years, they are not given questions. On and off, they will give you MCQs. So if it is given, it is really about the oath in the tennis court. Now see, this question is also about that one. What is the historical event which is related to oath in the tennis court and the State General Council? So that is the French Revolution. So I'm going to upload this completed tutor also into the slot. So then next time you can go to that one and just download it. Even if anyone wants that, I will send you this completed tutor. So this is a model question then. Some information regarding the significant revolutions of the world are given below. With reference to those answers, the question 52 and 53. Now see, peace, land and food. So what is this? This is the slogan of the Russian Revolution. State General Assembly. This is related to French Revolution. No representation, no tax. It is related to American War of Independence. An attack on Bastille prison, once again related to French Revolution. So the themes of the Russian Revolution. So what is the theme of the Russian Revolution? Peace, land and food. So this is related to Russian Revolution. So A. And information regarding the independence struggle in America. So no representation, no tax. So that is C. Okay, so C is related to American War of Independence. So American War of Independence, it had come for the exam only for MCQs. No essay question had been given. And okay, so I think we have discussed everything. So the short note MCQs, only 3 MCQs past papers and a possible MCQ. And so these things are what that model question related to reasons. And here we discuss past paper essay type questions. 2016 they have given the 8th question, and 2019 18 they have given the 9th question. So all these questions we discussed. And this is our express revision program schedule. We started, but anyone if newly joined, I can just send them all the recordings and past use about the missing lessons, right? So even that, I think we completed all these things. And at the first beginning, I just went through as a rush because I wanted to complete the reasons. Reasons we discussed 3 times, so that's why I rushed through the slides. I think the people who just have read the lesson, at least they could understand and they could catch it. And okay, so then we are going to finish today's session. So thank you very much for those who joined today's session. I think you got a kind of advantage and some knowledge about the French Revolution. So this field tude I'll be uploading to the slot in the EDU-ZONE website, so you can download, even if those who request from me, that I can send you through the WhatsApp also this completed tude. Okay, then today work I'm going to wind up. So thank you very much for joining. So I hope that you join theory classes and revision classes after this. And good night and